Hello guys, welcome to our second class. So in this class we're going to start making components to our game objects in order to make them behave the way that we want. So we're going to step a little bit into the programming side of Unity, and I'm going to show you guys how we can actually make different components in order to make any kind of game object that we have in the game behave the way that we want. So basically, just a quick reminder right here, every single game object will behave the way that the components say to this object to behave. And Unity have a lot of different game objects inside of Unity, and those game objects say to the game object how they're going to, they have a lot of components, and those components are going to say to each game object how they need to behave. So just as an example, our main camera right here have the camera component, and this component right here will say how the main camera need to behave in the game. And every single game object that we have will have different components, and Unity have a lot of different components already made, so we don't need to make them from scratch. But let's say if I want to make a new kind of behavior that does not exist inside of Unity. So I will need to write this behavior myself. I will need to tell Unity how a game object will need to work. And this behavior can be written in programming language. So that's how we actually say to the game object how it needs to behave and what's going to do in relationship with other game objects that we have in the game. Okay, that may sound confusing, but as we start programming, it's going to be a little bit easier to see how it works. So first of all, we need to write this behavior. And this document that we're going to write, it's a code. And the language that we're going to use, it's C#. Okay, so it's just a programming language that Unity uses to communicate in the system. So we're going to use this language, this programming language, to tell Unity how we need stuff to happen inside the game. So the first thing that you need to do in order to create a script is actually go to Assets right here. I'm going to click on Assets. You will have one folder called Scenes. So let's create another folder called Scripts, and then we are going to start creating scripts to our game objects that are listed right here in the hierarchy. All right. These objects right here was the example that I was doing on the last class. I'm not gonna need this, so I'm going to delete every single one of these. I'm just gonna leave the main camera, so we have the main camera in the game. Okay, so you don't need the cubes right there. All right, so here on the project, I'm going to click with the right click on the mouse and select Create, and then Folder. Okay, I create a new folder. I'm gonna call it Script. All right, inside this folder, Scripts, I'm gonna double click it, and then I'm going to create a new document, a C# script. So I'm gonna do the same steps as we did to the folder. Right click on the mouse, create, but then instead of folder, I'm going to select C# script right here. And that's our script. That's the kind of document that we're going to write right now. The name of the script, I'm gonna type Hello World. Okay, because it's going to be the first kind of script that we usually learn when we are making any kind of programming language. We learn this Hello World script, and I'm gonna show you guys what it does further in this class. All right, so this is our script. You can create as much a script as you can, the same way that we did right now, but we're only going to use this one. And this script right here, if you double click on this script, it's gonna open the software responsible for your coding. Usually Unity uses Visual Studio, but you can change to any kind of software that you want. Okay, so in my computer, I'm not gonna use Visual Studio, but it's not gonna be a problem if you use Visual Studio or any other kind of software. Okay, the important part is that we can see what is reading inside of the script, and then we can change whatever it's reading right here. So it's important that you have an editor, a text editor, that you can change the information that we have inside of this file. Usually Visual Studio is pretty good with Unity, so if it's working fine on your computer with Visual Studio, that's okay. I'm not gonna use Visual Studio, I'm gonna use a Notepad++. It's a very simple text editor, but any other kind of text editor will work fine. And how can we change the text editor if we want? So if you want to change from Visual Studio or select any other kind of software, you can go right here on Edit, Preferences, External Tools, and then here we have External Script Editor. In my case, as I said, I have Notepad++, but you can select Visual Studio or any other kind of software. If you go and browse right here, just select the software that you want to use, and Unity will understand that that is your default software for scripting. And then once you have your everything set up, you can double click this and it's gonna open this script right here. Okay, that's it's Visual Studio gonna open on Visual Studio, right? But important thing is that we have this script right here. Okay, so this script is the document that we just created right here. So if I double click, it's gonna open the same kind of file. You can see that Unity does not let us change the information on Unity. We're gonna use a different software for that. So it's kind of a document that we write, and then Unity will read this document after and apply it to a game object as a component. So what we are doing right here is actually we are writing a component as camera or any other kind of component that exists inside of Unity. So we're gonna write a script, and Unity will read this script and then apply this behavior of whatever we have right here into a game object. I'm gonna explain right now which part of this script does what, so you don't get confused. This script right here, the way that it is, it's the template that every time that you create a script is gonna appear like this. You're gonna have the same kind of wording. The only thing that's going to change is the name. It's not gonna be hello world, probably gonna be any kind of name that you put there. And it's always gonna come right like this, okay? So we always start the script changing them based on this kind of template right here. The first 3 lines that we have right here, it's the information that Unity will use, or actually this script will use in order to understand our script. So the first 2 lines right here, it's basically the script saying that it's using the collection and the system of C#. So these 2 lines right here, it's responsible to say, hey Unity, I'm gonna use some C# knowledge right here. Okay, so you can, if you can understand this C#, please use this kind of information in order to understand whatever I'm writing right here. So it's kind of a library, it's kind of a dictionary. Unity will use these libraries in order to understand whatever it has script is reading inside of this script. And this 3rd line right here, it's using the dictionary or library of Unity Engine. So basically I'm importing some kind of words in order to Unity understand whatever I am writing. So every time that you create your script, you're always going to come with these 3 lines right here in order so you can write C# and Unity understands it, and as well as some specific Unity information. So these 2 first lines right here handle the basic C# knowledge, and the 3rd one handles the Unity specific parts of C#. Okay, so that's why the same script that works on Unity may not be working in other systems, just because you use a different library. It's going to use Unity Engine library in C#. Alright, so after we have these 3 lines right here, Unity will create this class. Okay, so what is a class? A class, every single script inside of Unity is a class and is as well a component. So Unity divided the component part into classes. So every single script that we create is going to be a component inside of Unity, and we have its own behaviors. So in order to have this component structure inside of C#, we call it class. So it means that when we create a new script, we're always going to create a new class for each script. So basically, this is the main structure of the script. that's what we are actually creating. We are creating a class that is going to be a component inside of Unity. And whatever I have inside this class is going to be part of the behavior of the hello world script that we have right here. Okay, it may sound a little bit confusing. I'm not gonna go deep on this part right now, but just understand that every single script document that we write, it's going to be a class and it's going to tell Unity some kind of behaviors as a component. So Unity understands components as classes. So basically what I'm doing right here is starting a new component inside of Unity. We're gonna use inside of C# a lot of these icons right here, these key brackets. You see that these key brackets, when I click, it highlights this one. It means the key brackets inside of C# are used to limit whatever something begins and wherever something ends. So it means when I have a key brackets open like this, so basically a key brackets open like this and close it like this. So it means that the start of the class starts right here and ends right here. And everything that exists in between those key brackets is inside of the class hello world. So every time that we have these key brackets, just keep in mind that is something to delimit where something starts and where something ends. So we have our hello world class starting at line 6 and ending at line 18. Okay, so everything in between is gonna be part of the hello world class because it's inside the class. And of course I can jump some lines and make something exist inside of the hello world class. So the important part that it needs to be in between these key brackets right here. And every time that you click, at least in this software and I think in Visual Studio as well, every time that you click on the key brackets that opens, Unity, the software is going to highlight the key brackets that closes. So if we click right here, we're gonna see the one that closes right here. All right. Okay, so we have the script like right here, and we have two main parts of this script that I'm going to explain to you right now. We have this function called start, and we have another function called update. So basically, this function start, I know that's a function just because I'm not gonna explain what a function is, but I'm gonna give you some tips of how I know this is a function. It has a void right here and have parentheses. And you can also see that this function starts at line 9 and ends at line 11. And the same thing for update. You have the key bracket, the parentheses, you have void, and it starts on 15 and ends on 17. So what is a function inside of this script? A function is a part of the script that is going to be responsible for every single functionality that exists on the behavior of the script. So basically, every single command or something that I'm going to do on the script that is going to execute, it's going to be inside of a function. So whatever we have inside of this function called start, or in other words, between the line 9 and the line 11, right here, whatever we have right here, it's going to be executed in the first frame of the game. It means that when I start the game, like I start the game on Unity, this function will be called, and whatever I have inside of this function will be executed in the first frame and only once. Okay, so whatever I have on start function, it's going to be executed only once and in the first frame. Update, it works a little bit different. Whatever I have inside of update will be executed every single frame. Alright, so starts executed only once and in the first frame, and update is being executed every single frame. Okay, whatever we have inside of the function is going to be executed in this kind of a frequency, once and every single frame. So you imagine if your game have, let's say, just for example, if your game have something like 60 frames per second, it means that this function is being called 16 times per second. And whatever we have inside of this function, it's being executed 60 times per second as well. Alright, and on a start, only once. So let's make a new command and test it in a game object and see how it goes. So this first command that we're going to have right here, it's called log, and it basically just posts a message inside of the console part of Unity. Alright, so I'm gonna write this line right here, and then we're gonna see it testing on Unity. So try to do with me and see if everything works alright. Okay, just one thing before we do this command. An error that actually happens a lot, and I'm going to explain that right now just really quickly. The name of the class needs to be exactly equal to the name of the file. Okay, so it means that if I change the name of the file for some reason, like if I put something like this, it's not gonna work because the name of the class, it's not equal to the name of the file. So Unity and C# is a key sensitive environment. It means that lowercase words and letters are not the same as capital letters. So capital H is different in C# of lowercase h. Okay, so just be careful about that. Alright, so with everything working fine, with the right name in the document and right here, we can start our script. So the command that I'm going to show to you guys right now, it's very easy. Just be careful with the capital letters and lowercase letters because they are different inside of the script. Unity will recognize them as different letters. Okay, so just be careful with that. So I'm gonna put this hello world. Okay, so basically we have debug right here and .log, and in the parentheses I have a quotation mark saying the message that I want to appear inside of Unity. So you can put anything. I'm gonna put hello world because it's usually the first thing that we learn inside of programming. And you can also see that I'm ending this with a semicolon. So let's test it out right now and see how it goes inside of Unity Editor. So I'm going to save right here. Always save your script. Make sure that you save it. And then in order to make this script actually works inside of Unity, it needs to be attached to a game object. So remember, I'm going to say it again. The script is a component, and a component says a behavior of a game object. So it needs to be attached in a game object in order to exist inside of the environment of the game. So I'm going to create one game object and attach this script to it in order to make it work. So I'm going to go to game object, empty, and I'm going to call it test. Okay, it doesn't, as is it, it's an empty game object. It does not have any kind of component. We can add this script into this game object in two different ways. We can go click on the test, add component, and then write the name of the script that we have. Okay, it should appear right there. Maybe I wrote hello world. Yeah, that's strange, but anyway, it should appear on the list. Or we can just drag and drop. Oh, you see that we have a problem right here. That's why it's not listed right there. The name is different. It said hello world, not hello world. So I'm gonna correct right this so we can attach it to Unity. So that's what kind of problem that you can find if the name of the files doesn't perfectly match the name of the class that it's on the script. And if we change right here, it's not gonna change on the script. So we need to make sure that is the same word. Okay, so I'm gonna open right there. Okay, it's the same word. All right, so here on test, I'm gonna add component and I'm gonna write hello world. You can see that it's listed right there. I can click right here and then attach this script in the test, or I'm gonna remove to test another way. We can drag and drop like this, or even drag and drop like this. Works the same way. All the three different ways do the same thing. It attached the component hello world inside of the test. So it means that this, I'm gonna open the script again. This script is gonna only execute once and in the first frame. And this script actually shows a message in the console of Unity. So if I play the game, the test should be inside of the console. And we have right here, hello world. If I click right here, it's gonna open the console for me, and that's the message. And you see that is only appeared only once, and in the beginning of the game. As soon as I start, I'm gonna clear, and all the messages that appear on the console does not erase automatically, so you need to clear every time. If I play again, the message appears again. Okay, that's how it works. First, if some reason you can't open your console, you can always go on Window, General, and then Console right here. It's gonna open the same window. All right. So on the script, what happens if I write the same command but not on start? If I write on update, let me put a pause over here. It's the same command, but they are in different function. Remember again the way that function works inside of Unity. Starts only called once and in the first frame. An update, it's being called every single frame. Okay? So it means if I play the game right now with this on test, I will have this command print every hello world every 60 times per second, every single frame. So you can see a bunch of hello world right here. And yep, that's can be what you want or not, but just be careful about the way that function works inside of Unity. Okay, so we can test another kind of command right here just to see how things works a little bit different. What about if I put something like destroy? So destroy basically destroy a something, whatever you have inside of the parentheses. So I'm gonna put this game object. So it means I'm not gonna, don't worry about that right now, but this game object means the game object that the script is attached to. So if I press destroy and then this .game object, it's going to destroy the game object that this script is attached. So I'm gonna save and play. Oops, I don't want to play on maximize it. I want to play on minimize it. You can see that the test is gone. It's been destroyed. It does not exist anymore. So it's happening in the first frame only once. Of course, only once because you can destroy something twice in this case. But yeah, that's how we make commands inside of scripting. And depending on the command that we have inside of our game, we're going to make different behaviors of each game object that exists in the same environment. So if we have, like, let's say a cube in the game, and I put hello world in the cube as well, we have right now test and hello world with this component. And if I have destroy, I'm gonna press destroy again. If I have destroy, I will have every single game object that have this script behave in the same way. So if I press play, I will have both gone. Okay, so that's the first class of programming that we have, and things are going to work out almost as a snowball right now. So make sure that you make the examples and you make it work in order to go to the second class. It works like a snowball. Every single knowledge that we have right here is going to be adding up until we have a very cool method of controlling our game objects. So please make sure to test these different commands right here and play a little bit with the scripts. Just again, be careful about the names. It can show up as an error if you put the different name right here of the script right here. Okay, I hope you guys liked and see you on the next class.